you never give as much succour to the extreme right as when you cut off the mechanism of democratic change. If people want to be able to achieve change through democratic means, if they feel that that is being denied to them, they then turn to other more socially disruptive ways of expressing their views. And that is the danger here.
And you think that would happen if there were to be a second vote? There'd be violence on the streets.
I didn't say violence on the streets.
That's what you're suggesting.
What I'm saying is that in any situation, if people feel that the route to change is no longer a democratic route, then you look to social disruption, perhaps civil disobedience in a different way. And this is playing with our democracy. It's playing with the foundations of our country in a way that is really, really damaging. We have to respect people's vote in that referendum. We told them we would. We must do it.
Whatever the economic price.
It's not about whatever the economic price. And
well,
that's
it is,
why,
isn't it?
No, it's not.
Borough from Wales. Barry, I've got a question for you. You know, as a Labour supporter and a Labour voter for all of my life, for you to turn around to me and tell me you're going to get me back into the Labour Party by offering me a referendum on a choice between Remain Light and Remain, how stupid do you take us for? You take us for utter idiots, don't you, Barry?
Well, borrowed out to you too. But look, what we're looking at is...
You're going against the vote that we voted for Barry.
No.
Come out and say it.
You remember what was on that ballot paper? It was whether we
leave
should...
or remain.
Exactly.
Quite simple, Barry.
And what it didn't say is how we would leave. And what we've been struggling over the past 3 years, and what the Conservatives have been unable even to agree amongst themselves, so much so that they've thrown 21 of their own people out the party, right? Is how we should leave. How we should leave. Now, some people want to leave in the most right-wing way possible.
It's not right-wing.
Well, it's
just
leaving.
You're telling
me I'm right-wing, Barry? Are you telling me I'm right-wing?
No.
I voted Labour all my life, and I'm a right-wing person. This is why we in South Wales are going to give you a massive wake-up call on December the 12th. You are going to realise South Wales is like Scotland. You've took us for granted and you take us for fools.
Well, I've never taken anybody for granted. I've never taken any vote for granted. I think we must always try and listen to people's concerns and address them. But what the referendum decided was that, people wanted to leave. What wasn't decided was how we should. And that's what Parliament's been arguing about.
But you're not going to offer a choice in this referendum, are you? You're going to offer, as James says, a choice between Remain and Remain Light.
No, it's not Remain Light.
Well, it is. You're staying in the single market, you're staying in the customs union.
If you don't have any representation in the European Union, if you're no longer bound by the two treaties of the European Union, that means you're not a member of the European Union. And that's what we voted on.
And
if you remember back to the referendum...
Should you not offer a proper Brexit on the referendum as well?
May I just make this point? If you remember back to the referendum, when Nigel Farage was saying, look at Norway, look at Switzerland...
Stop mentioning Nigel Farage and Hannah. They are not members of the government. They're not MPs. You are trying to go against what we voted for. Don't waffle, Barry. Come out and say it. You want us to remain, and you want to stab the people in South Wales in the back.
Absolutely
like you've done to Scotland, like you've done to the north.
No, absolutely not. What we're trying to do is to offer people a way in which, yes, they can leave if they want to, but without destroying jobs and our economy, and without ignoring the wishes of the other half of the population.
But you could easily satisfy James, I think, by saying we'll have a Leave versus Remain referendum. We'll rerun the first one, actually, so we can see how people's views have changed or not. And then if Remain win, well, we all know what that means. But then if Leave wins, then you have a secondary question, deal or Labour's, no deal or Labour's deal. And then I think that would satisfy James.
No, sorry, at the time of the referendum, nobody ever talked about no deal.
Yes, they did.
No.
David Cameron did. He said, if we don't leave with a deal, we leave under WTO terms. I can play you the video.
Sorry, you're right. You're right. But what he was saying when he was saying that, and let's look at the implication of what he was saying. He was saying that would be disastrous. He said if we don't leave with the deal, we would. Yeah. That was simply the default position.
But people have a right to.
That was going off the cliff edge.
Anyway, I mean, James there has articulated Labour's problem in this election, not only in South Wales but in the Midlands and the North. And judging by that YouGov poll on Wednesday, I mean, that is where Boris Johnson would get his majority from.
Well, look, if you look at what's been happening in the polls have been narrowing over the past few weeks.
True.
They've narrowed greatly this last week, down in some polls down to 6 points. I hope they will halve again in the next week, and ultimately we will be in a position where we can win this election. But we'll do it by, Ian, by trying to answer your question straight, and I'm not trying to duck his question. I've taken it on board. I understand he disagrees with me, but what he has to understand is that he, in disagreeing with half of his fellow citizens, we're faced with two extremes. Some people want one, some people want the other.